Last time on Dragon Ball Z, after the Z Crew made a last-minute exit out of Boo's blowhole, the beast transformed into its most terrifying form yet. Now rid of all the softness and rationality of the Kais he absorbed, Majin Buu was at his most pure and most evil. Never had 4'2" look so fearsome. And for Kid Buu's first order of business, he decided he would like to begin his entrance with a bang, creating a ki blast of nuclear proportions, leaving our hero scrambling for safety as the Earth mourned its final moments. After a last-minute save by Shin, Goku and company were returned to the land of the Kais, but the reality of their devastating loss quickly began to set in as the two warriors grieved the loss of their sons, as well as the planet that had become their home. But hope arose in the form of little Piccolo, who reminded the gang of the existence of the Namekian Dragon Balls, which can now be the key in rewinding the clock on the explosive situation on Earth and setting things back to normal. After a brief bit of negotiation with the eldest of the Kais and a short deliberation amongst themselves, right as the plan was being confirmed, who should find themselves visiting the planet next but the man of the hour himself, Majin Buu. For better or worse, by this point both Goku and Vegeta have fully embraced their Saiyan pride, deciding that they would not be fusing to take on the newest incarnation of the gum-flavored fighter, but they would be relying on their individual strength alone, placing their bets on all the universe on what they could do by themselves, and so the stage was set for the penultimate battle of Dragon Ball Z, as Goku and Vegeta readied themselves for battle against the strongest creature they had ever known. But before we get the climactic mollywhopping underway, I would feel I'd done y'all a disservice if I didn't talk about just a couple things beforehand. First thing I want to make mention of is what the animation team did to my man Dabura post Game Over in the filler episodes. It appears as though Yama in all of his petty glory gave Dabura the Frieza treatment, realizing that it felt like him, who was literally calling the shots in hell, would see it as more of a vacation than a punishment, and decided that he had earned an all-expense-paid trip to heaven instead. But for whatever reason, as soon as the Majin stamp left his dome piece and he went to the good place, Dabura decided that his days of giving that hawk tour was over and he wanted to embrace his true ladylike essence, linking up with Bulma, Chi-Chi, and Videl in the afterlife and doing his best to become just another one of the girls. How this cursed-ass blunt rotation first came into existence is beyond me, but I can't lie that the comedic synergy between Dabura and Bulma is something I wouldn't have minded seeing expanded on, as Bulma's Dami Mommy energy, coupled with Dabura's newly minted submissive essence, creates for some interesting character interactions to say the least. Another set of moments consists of Yamcha, Krill, and the A-list of the filler crew starring Pikkon getting busy training in the afterlife until Buu rolls up and reminds them of their place in the pecking order. There's a couple of reasons I'm a fan of these scenes, one being the fact that it gives some much needed flowers to our human crew, because they are inevitably going to be compared to the Omega level mutant threat that are the Saiyans. Little attention gets paid to just how much these guys have leveled up off screen and how by this point they're doing work against some of the galaxy's strongest. By the end of the Buu arc, Yamcha and Krillin are cleaning up a lot of y'all's favorites in other shows, but we ain't about to have that conversation. I'm just going to be messy and leave it at that. But in the comments, let me know who you got Krillin and Yamcha soloing as far as the MCs in other universes. But the other part I like about this is how Buu pulls up and really gets to showcase his nature as chaos incarnate. Buddy is somehow just breaking all the rules. After peeping instant transmission once, this fella Majin Buu was somehow able to sense a cluster of unusually strong punching bags no longer in the realm of the living. Pulled up to them and started beating the living. Actually, I misspoke, because these dudes ain't even alive no more to be getting packed up the way they are by Kid Buu. Buddy waltzes in the land of the dead for a 1v75 and proceeds to embarrass the entire camp. And right before he's about to blow out the candles and somehow kill these dudes twice, he gets summoned like Bruce Wayne with the bat signal after Goku and Vegeta use their ki as bait in the land of the Kais, where our canonical ass whooping finally starts to get underway. The animation squad really went out their way to showcase Buu as a force of nature. They did a great job of translating the idea of him being one of the most terrifying villains we've ever seen in the series, based purely off of his lack of motive and unpredictability. At least with dudes like Frieza and Cell, we had some kind of motive no matter how loose, which put their actions in some kind of framework of understanding that we could predict and respond to accordingly. One was an intergalactic racist looking to solidify his reign by giving himself more inches with the use of the balls. The other was a biracial hodgepodge of all those that came before, and in his unbridled cockiness, sought to establish his pace as the universe's alpha or die trying. But this fella Buu, there was no rhyme or reason. He had nothing to prove, and there was no particular prejudice in his heart. But he loved destruction for destruction's sake, and nothing, not even all living creatures' drive for self-preservation, could keep him from his addiction. Buddy is hella scary. And I can absolutely see why Shin was back at home doing tricks on it while describing to the team exactly why they should be losing their minds just as much as he was at the monster's rebirth. And now we return to our pay-per-view match of the hour. After the initial shock of Majin Buu rolling up on the planet without no type of "yo, I'm outside" text, a plan had to come together quickly. Goku recommended that Shin take everyone to another planet with a quickness, because both him and Vegeta had a sneaking suspicion stuff was about to get real ugly real fast. And on the not unlikely chance that mans like Majin Buu decided he wanted to speedrun and checkmate the board again, it would be best for all involved if they weren't anywhere remotely close to the festivities. Elder Kai was beyond pissed at the audacity of these two Ningen adjacent boneheads rolling up to the planet of deities and telling them to kick rocks. But he knew enough about Majin Buu by this point to know they weren't wrong, so with a middle finger and a begrudging heart, he made his way over to that disappointment machine so they could be teleported out of harm's way to catch a live stream from a safe distance. And as he set up his 1440p crystal ball, like any reasonable individual, he was prepared to see Goku and Vegeta using their combined strength to take on the universal manifestation of chaos in an unrivaled display of cooperation and combat prowess that had never before been displayed on the planet Fitness. But he almost went into cardiac arrest when he saw two pathetic excuses of a power level standing parallel playing Jonkin, with every intent on wasting what little chance they had on some gross form of saying chivalry rather than playing Jumpman like their life depended on it. They were actually doomed. Continuing with this lifelong streak of luck, Son Goku dominated the Prince in their game of rock, paper, power pole and excitedly stepped up to bat first against the Kid Buu threat. Going against his typical sandbagging in the first half instinct, Goku decided that if he didn't want to catch a wedgie in front of his rival, he would have to go all out from the start. And Vegeta wouldn't have had it any other way, as he was eager to see what this Super Saiyan 3 nonsense was about in person and how it compared to the Twitch streams he was catching with watery eyes back in hell. Now I gotta bring this up because y'all know I'm low-key a Son Goku apologist, but this next line damn near made me want to throw out all my merch and burn my jersey. After Vegeta makes mention of wanting to see Goku's little transformation, this fella shot a grin over to Vegeta and was like, "Oh yeah, sure about that, buddy?" Because back when I busted out this bad boy on Earth, I could have completely busted Big Back Buu low diff, but I wanted to give our kids something to do, so I backed off. Bro, I know Piccolo was somewhere at King Yima scuffing his paper bag 11s and making up new swears the Namekians didn't even know they had. This fella Kakarot is a whole piece of work. Mans like Goku sat there and lied straight to Big Green's face talking about, "I don't know, old buddy, even if I did go all out, I'm not sure I would have had enough gas in the tank to finish the job." Then he wants to sit here in front of the Prince of all haters and talk about how he could have pulled us out of this arc 80 episodes ago, but he didn't want his kids to be bored, so he was willing to let the planet explode. Please say psych. I hope for everyone's sake this was just Goku talking spicy to get under everyone's skin, because if not, Yima got a special place in hell once he catches HIV again and his day finally comes. Almost as heartbreaking as Goku's reveal though was the sight in front of him. This dude Majin Buu could not have been less amused. He saw the two pickle rigs standing in front of him as so little of a threat, he ended up taking a little nappy nap while Goku just revealed to the world how he was playing games in front of everybody's face. Being none too happy, he internalized that disrespect and hopped straight into SSJ3 to let the cooking commence. But let me backtrack, because it's not entirely true that Goku got straight to business. While he does put his foot on the gas right away in the manga, in the broadcast version, we get the Goku we all know and love, who tests the waters with his base levels of Super Saiyan before making the transition we see in the written version. And as annoying as it can be seeing Goku play with his food, there's no way I can be upset, because the art and choreography is absolutely on point for the entirety of this section. The Dragon Ball anime is low-key notorious for a lack of consistency across the board due to the length of the series and the sheer number of artists and animators that have worked on the IP as it made its legendary run. As a result of this, OG fans of the series at some point will likely begin to attach themselves to specific fights and interpretations of the characters due to picking up on these differences and gravitating towards the way certain artists express certain characters in the action on screen. Two of the most infamous animation supervisors that did work on Dragon Ball and were responsible for some of the most nightmarish, memeable screenshots to ever come out of the show were Ebisawa and Uchiyama. While the names might not be familiar, I promise y'all are familiar with their work. Ebisawa gave us such classics as the early Saiyan Saga Vegeta with the absolutely egregious dome piece that still gets clowned on to this day, and above all, I think this is one of the hallmarks of the Ebisawa touch. The man loves him some weirdly shaped chins and elongated foreheads. Bro is damn near single-handedly responsible for the Vegeta hairline jokes that will be repeated by commenters into eternity. And following behind him is the homie Uchiyama, responsible for giving us the cursed thumb pointing Vegeta screenshot during the Cell arc, oddly huge hair on Super Saiyan Goku on Namek, and many other hood classics throughout the Frieza and Cell saga on the whole. The reason I bring this up is not to crap on any particular artist or animator. These guys are still supremely talented, and I can only dream of being able to do what they do. But it's primarily put a spotlight on my personal GOATs, Studio Cockpit, and the artist Keisuke Masunaga. Y'all, just take a second and look at these interpretations of Goku and Vegeta from this squad in particular. Call me whatever y'all want. Masunaga's keyframe showcase some of the most beautiful interpretations of Z characters that have ever existed and we will likely ever see. But his art just captures so much raw energy and power that it's impossible not to glaze the fella up a little bit. His interpretations of Goku in these final chapters of the Buu arc encapsulate the dude so perfectly, man. The musculature not only looks badass, but tells the story of a warrior that has honed their body to near perfection over the course of years through discipline, even hellish training, and countless life or death battles. And the subtle details like the way he draws Goku's facial features, his eyes in particular, really help sell the idea that we are seeing a Goku that has matured, a fighter in their prime at the apex of their ability, and with the full understanding that the battle they're undertaking is one that will decide the outcome for every living creature in the galaxy, and they fully feel the weight of that. Alright, I'll hop off Masunaga's power pole for a minute, but I had to give some love to him and the animation team, because for many, myself included, this final battle with Buu is one of, if not the best fight we have had in Z, toe-to-toe with that Piccolo vs 17 scrap, and I think it's important to recognize the people behind the scenes of the art that carries so much weight for so many of us. And if any of y'all at home are interested in learning more about the differences in art style and animation over the course of Z, Forgotten Relics has some great vids going over a nice bit of that territory, and showcasing some of Z's best and not so best animated episodes. Filler or not though, this throwdown with Super Saiyan Goku and Kid Buu is A1. Goku starts off giving Kid Buu that Robin from Teen Titans special, coming from the top rope with a knee drop just to introduce himself. But this dude Kid Buu is literally unfazed, continuing to beat his chest while the whole of his head is caved in the most unserious of manners. Goku then kicks Big Man away, finally waking Buu up, who shoots a ki blast but continues to get styled on as Goku pretends this is Marvel vs. Capcom and without leaving the skies proceeds to air combo this dude, and then with a smile as he sends a ball of energy into his midsection and blows him apart. Satan, who was forgotten by the rest of the rescue party, thinks he finally just witnessed the end of the Majin threat. But of course Buu reforms and the two get back to work. Now this right here, y'all, is what I'm talking about with the insane animation work. As Buu and Goku fly parallel, they meet one another with ki blasts that lights a fire across the land of the Kais, and just look at the smoothness of the animation as Goku hops out the flame and stances back up to take on a raw headbutt from Kid Buu. Even if you ain't an animation nerd like me, I know you can tell there's something special going on in this fight. And that, homies, is the work of Studio Cockpit and Masunaga. As Goku is blocking the aerial punches from Buu, peep how the motion lines and the sound design work together to make you feel each hit so viscerally. It's like you can feel how bone-rattlingly hard these attacks from Majin Buu are, and you got our boy Goku just standing 10 tones down, tanking them joints like the veteran he is. Then you got my man Vegeta, arms folded in the back, looking to grip harder than he's ever looked in his life thanks to that Masunaga blessing he received as well. One thing the team at Cockpit really nails down in this fight as well is the free-flowing nature of both Goku and Kid Buu's fighting styles. This throwdown between both of these titans isn't just the same kind of slugfest we've seen in previous fisticuffs with the big bad. We don't have elaborate stances being taken up just for the sake of it and turning into the same flurry of straight punches and kicks with the occasional ki blast like we've seen in previous occasions. Kid Buu is the incarnation of chaos, and in this battle he fights as such. Dude is the definition of unpredictable, taking hits randomly just because he feels like it, turning his body into a kite to stop himself from being blown back, using his shape-shifting tentacles to violate in all manner of ways. The way Kid Buu expresses himself through his hands in the scrap perfectly encapsulate who he is as a character, and it feels like they showed the same level of care with Goku as well, showcasing the power of his attacks, but also reminding the audience that Son Goku is a practiced martial artist, with all the battlefield awareness and flexibility that comes with that. We see the homie Goku kicking and stancing up before and after attacks in a way we rarely get to see, and using his flexibility and pattern recognition to break dance all over this fella Majin Buu in a way that only a fighter of his talent and caliber could. Beautiful stuff in motion. If you haven't had a chance to just watch the fight raw, or you haven't peeped it in a while, I highly encourage you to take a minute out of your day and throw it on. If you love DBZ and everything that it is, you owe yourself that much. After Goku gets yoked up by Buu's best Willow Smith impersonation, Goku is parked in a massive fissure within the earth as Buu basically just pees on the ground and marches territory, beating his chest on a primal display of dominance that has everybody shook. Even Hercules praying the blind man wakes back up and get him a dub. Goku emerges and Buu, peeping that his food still has a bit of life left in it, plans on remedying that, preparing yet another planet-busting ball of energy that for some reason this man Goku still allows him to cook up on the spot like he hasn't already seen this movie before. Eventually, Kakarot moves a thumb from his prostate and shoots a ball of energy. I guess in an attempt to distract Buu so the key charge will fall apart. But instead, the blast becomes a part of Buu's attack and is launched directly at Goku, who attempts to tank it, but realizes this is absolutely not happening. So settles for launching it away so it can cause untold amounts of damage to whatever creatures still happen to be living on Planet Fitness. Buu's attack proved to be much craftier than anticipated though, and right as Goku is beginning to get lost in thought, the attack pierces the ground, devastating the landscape and giving us a re-up of the Namek situation. The lightning destroyed Earth and lifeless chasms becoming a sight we've grown all too familiar with. This is finally when Goku decides to wake all the way up in the broadcast version, looking down upon Buu as pushed his Super Saiyan transformation to its limit and decide that he must now go further beyond. Tapping into his remaining reserves to reach Super Saiyan 3 and gearing up to finally give Buu the match he's been looking for. And here, with Goku finally laying all his cards on the table, is where we'll call it. Tune in next time as Goku and Buu begin their battle in earnest. Vegeta watches from the sidelines and grows uncharacteristically sentimental as he watches Goku battle for his life against their toughest foe yet. What has Vegeta observed in Kakarot that's changed him so much? And will whatever he sees now be enough to take down Buu? Only one way to find out. Be easy, y'all, and catch you again in the next video.